to day five of the Beat the Block Writing Challenge. I'm so excited to get into the tools today because this is the magic elixir. But meanwhile, it's been great to see you on the writing sessions on Zoom. It's been great to see you in Facebook active doing those homeworks. It's really been exciting. So let's get going. I'm going to share screen. It's not going to go where I want it to go, but you'll indulge me in one little minute. Share. Nope. There. Okay. So here we are sharing the screen. There I am in both the corners. Okay. But you'll see me in the little corner, upper right-hand corner as I talk, and I'll come back and talk to you at the end. But anyway, we're in Beat the Block day 5. Yay. So this is our last day. So everything's changing. There's no homework. There is a live Zoom session today, writing again between 4 and 5 p.m. You can ask me anything about any of the tools, any of the concepts we've covered, anything about Mighty Writers Club. If you are interested in joining us today for Mighty Writers Club, it would be great to have you. It's been so fun writing with you this week. It is at this link that you learn more, go.decodingcreativity.com/mighty. Okay, and you'll get an email with that as well. Okay, so here we go, day 5. What will give you the oomph you need? This is the creator's toolbox, and I have 5 tools to share with you because oomph is different for each of us. I would love to be quoted, but for that, oomph is different for each of us. It's a very Julia sentence, but it's true. So what are your struggles? We went through that, right? What are your strengths? We covered that. And then do you avoid or confront your struggles? If you avoid them, you stick in your strength and you're just try and live in your happy place. But if you're a confronter, you plow ahead, even if you can't do it very well, and you ultimately shortchange your creative product and your creative process. And it's very painful. You finish books that aren't as good as they could be. You put them out in the world and don't get the response you would have liked. It's just sad and hard. Okay, so what oomph will help you? Okay, about me. You already know I'm a coach. I'm a creativity coach. And I also went and got my master's in the science of creativity. You probably also know I'm a speaker about creativity. I'm a 4-time author. My most recent book comes up in the next slide, which is Write Without the Fight. It debuted at #1. I've also been pubbed traditionally with the book Motherhood to Otherhood from Running Press. Anyway, you probably know all that. But you might not know that I avoid clarity. This is where I'm an avoider, and it's clarity. I like loosey-goosey. I like ideas. And for me, clarity is kind of a mood killer. But if I want to have meaningful projects, find a great home for my cherished ideas, build a structure, finish it, I need clarity. I hate to admit it, but I do. Ideas are my strong suit, but they're also my downfall. I can't kill my darlings, not without a lot of clarity. Why? And then I manage now to choose, start, and finish projects, and you can too. And that's exactly what this particular deliberate creativity model taught me, along with the tools associated with it. So there's a lot packed into today, and I hope you get a lot out of it for yourself, for your writing. Just by way of looking at this is how I was quote unquote blocked. I had a great idea. I got started right away. Something went a little wrong, and oh well, I'll just get a new idea. So I'd get a new idea. I got started right away. And then something went a little wrong, and oh well, I'll get a new idea. So you can see that I was blocked in the busiest possible way. I was spiraling instead of with clarity, building one thing on top of another, taking steps down a road. I was in a little follow the yellow brick road spiral, right? So this is exactly how my particular struggle, thinking style, clarity, kept me in a spiral. You might have a different thinking style struggle, which could be finishing, could be structure, and you might need a single tool. A single tool could pull you out of that spiral. It's very exciting and interesting. So again, this is my book, Write Without the Fight. It really describes a lot of this in great detail. Fun read, interesting read. You can get it at go.decodingcreativity.com/paperback if you want a signed book straight from me, or you can order it at your local bookstore distributed by Ingram Spark, or of course it's always on Amazon or bookstore.org. Here's some of the press that I am very proud to have garnered, and we'll go right into these tools. Oomph. Get some. We got 5 tools today: mighty language, brainstorming in the third, what I see myself doing, turtle steps, and the sisters and resistors. So we want to make this easy. Even I can do that. Make it easy, easy, easy. Okay. So first thing is, and I want you to actually do this with me. Say this in your head. Think of something you need to do soon. It doesn't have to be writing related. It could just be anything you dread doing or don't want to get to. Or so for me, I have to finish this video. Do I feel like that's dreadful? No, but maybe I have to pick out tile later. That could be, ugh. But at any rate, something that you don't want to do. You say that sentence in your head and you start to think, where do you feel it in your body? I have to finish that chapter. I have to write that. Where do you feel it? What sensations do you feel? Some people feel it in their temples. Some people get really stressed in their neck or their shoulders. Some people clench their fists or their arms tight, like they hold them tight to their bodies. Some people get a stomach ache, and people get, just neck aches, or clench, just clench all over. That's my nice way of saying it. Clench. But if you change that, I have to, whatever it is you're talking about, visit my grandma. If you change it to, how might I, change that sentence. How might I finish this video? How might I, even something as dreadful as lose 50 pounds goes from I have to how might I. You can just feel that shift, right? Where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel that difference? The looseness, the openness. You might even feel it shift from here, which is the locus of thinking. The locus of thinking, which is the word that means where the thinking is coming from, which is like the gator brain, fear brain, no good. You might feel the actual thought shifting to here, which is your neocortex, story brain, and your problem-solving brain. So you might even feel that shift as to where from your brain it comes. This is called mighty language. It's been developed and created and tested on tens of thousands of people, not by me, by people in the industry. So how might I, in what ways might I, and what might be all the ways constitute the mighty language. And it causes your brain to upshift from here to here and look for solutions. How might I, how to is very narrow, right? How might I is a little bit wider. In what ways might I opens it up, and what might be all the ways asks for a full list of what might be the ways to do that. Okay, you can feel that. You can make a little note of it and make sure you use this language, especially when you're going, dread, I have to. How might I is an immediate mood changer. And of course, you're already really thinking with all guns. Okay, now we've all heard of brainstorming. This is an ideas tool. Brainstorming is, by definition, separating divergent sessions from convergent sessions. It's not anything else. It's not always pizza in a conference room or frisbees or any of the things that you may have seen stereotyping brainstorming. It doesn't matter how many people are brainstorming, one or many, virtually or in person, synchronously or asynchronously. What matters, that makes it brainstorming or not, is that you've done all your divergence as far as you can push it. You go away, and in a different session, whether it's just after lunch or after you walked in the yard for a minute, you bring a different mindset to convergence. How do you converge? And that's because a completely different mindset. You have to be playful, fun, jokey, ridiculous in your brainstorming, in your divergence, but in your convergence, you need to be selective, perfective. You need to really bring some judgment to it, right? So that's by definition what brainstorming is. Now, the third is brainstorming on steroids, and this was developed by Min Bassiter, who is a great creative theoretician who recently died and left us with so many great theories and tools to use. But this one's called the third. So you have your brain's going to come up with X number of ideas, let's say 90. The first third is going to be pretty normal ideas because that's what comes first. Things that are square is what we're brainstorming, just for example. And the first third is going to be books, blocks, doors, iPhones, that, and then you're going to start getting into different things like sunburn lines, whatever, I don't know. But so the first third is going to be your really normal ideas. You have to go ahead and write them down. And often, because that just gets them out of your brain, you can move on. And often as you're doing that, you think to yourself, oh, I'm bad at these. These are bad ideas. So try and avoid that thought and get back to your actual positive thinking to get to your second third. And in your second third, they start to get a little bit interesting. The ideas start to get interesting. And you think, oh, this is not so bad. I can do that. Oh, that could be fun. Yeah. And you start to think, oh, I'm not so bad at this. And in fact, you're so relieved, your little ego takes that interesting idea and runs. And if a confident brainstormer, and you may or may not consider yourself a confident brainstormer, but you will feel confident if you push to the third. It's an ineffable concept. It's not always the last 30 or the last 10, but it's that last time when your brain gets tired and your editor, which lives right here, sort of steps off and you say the stupid things, the crazy things, the guttural things about sex and poop and farts and, the things that are really kind of just not, as it says here, original. In fact, they seem to be not very original. They seem to be stupid ideas, but you write them down anyway. And they're within a context, obviously, of something that you're trying to come up with, right? But here's the magic elixir. How might this idea work? So let's look at that again, some more. So, okay, we're looking at this little dino on the table here, and we're saying, what's that dino doing here? What are the ideas? The normal idea would be something like a kid left it there. Maybe you've got a little story in your head about a waitress, leaving her shift with it and trying to find the kid. What's the interesting idea? Okay, so it's going from normal, it could be fine, but it's not very interesting or exciting or original, to interesting. It's an overlooked clue in his mother's murder case. Maybe it's been there all along and the cop only sees it the fourth time he's in visiting the scene of the crime. But what's that weird third idea? Original, crazy, maybe even stupid. It is literally his mother, and she has to go to the bathroom, but she can't figure out how to do it. Right? Okay. Now that's a crazy idea. Especially if you're like talking about a rom-com or something, or you're talking, So here's the trick of it. How might this idea work? So let's go to that crazy idea. It's literally his mother, and she has to go to the bathroom, and she can't decide what to do about it. And we're talking about a rom-com. In a rom-com, how might that idea work? It could be the story that a young woman is telling a young man, and it's their meet cute. He judges her for being weird. She feels like maybe she's being a little weird. And in the end, they both think, yeah, but cute, right? It could just be the meet cute. It could be behind people on a screen as a game, as a video game, or it could be the story of a show that the young brother is watching on TV. And I don't know, but you see what I'm saying? Like, this affirmative judgment, as it's called, how might this idea work, is the magic sauce. It's how you take a really weird idea and put it in a context. It starts using your judgment. It's the first level of convergence. But how might this idea work? Okay, and that's how you really can get to your own best original thinking. The third, ambassador. Okay, a structural tool is to, instead of making lists, is to do what I see myself doing. What I see myself doing is, and then you take all your ideas and things that you've been planning and you put them in a paragraph form and you tell yourself the story. I see myself, ISM, I see myself finishing this book by December and writing a query to so-and-so and so-and-so. I see myself, may see even as I'm doing this, I sort of tend looking up to the left. I just noticed I was doing that. The reason you do that, and she's doing it in the picture too, is because we're literally envisioning what we're talking about because of this phrase, what I see myself doing. It causes you to envision it. It is so much more exciting, engaging, and interesting than a list. It's how your brain works. Your brain wants to be entertained. It wants to see a vision. It doesn't really want to look at a list. Also, when you're telling yourself a story, you can see plot holes, right? Oh, I'm gonna have to get paper. I don't have any paper. That's not gonna make it on a list, but it will make it into a paragraph story you're telling yourself. So I see myself going to the Staples store and buying paper before I do all this, right? And instead of that becoming really annoying, it's sort of fun and interesting when it's a story you're telling yourself. Again, this is a tool, what I see myself doing, that was developed probably 20 years ago by a creative practitioner. I'll be happy to put all the sources for all these tools in the Facebook group. But this one has been tested on thousands and thousands of people who report that they undertake very hard things much more um, happily or much more confidently because they've used this particular setup of how to think about it. What I see myself doing, and I see myself. Okay, so it's a really good structural step. Okay, another little structural step as you're facing, I do hard things every day kind of thing. And we do hard things every day. But instead of like girding our loins or saying, I'm going to do this, I don't want to do everything white knuckled. I like to relax at night and have a nice life. So I want everything to be so easy that I have to do it, but my body relaxes, right? So if you make a goal and it makes you gird your loins, and you may feel like the goal's not worth having if it's not a tough goal or out of reach. That could be your ultimate goal, could be hard and out of reach. But when you're thinking of undertaking it today, how does it make you feel? And if your body tenses up, cut it in half. I'm going to write 1,600 words today. Cut it in half. I'm going to write 800 words today. How does that feel? Do you feel your body loosening up? If not, cut it in half again. I'm going to write 200 words today. 200. How does that feel? That little baby word, turtle step. And the reason this works is because you can resist even 100 words a day, thinking, oh, it's just stupid to write 100 words, right? But you can resist that for a very long time, years, decades. But if you just do the little step for 4 days and give yourself a little reward for doing it, a little brain reward, you can start to, beat at that resistance and start to lay in the habit that makes it possible to get back to, I'm going to write 1,600 words today, which happens to be how many words you tend to write in a NaNoWriMo month. So if you're going to resist it forever, it doesn't matter how big that goal is or isn't. If you're going to start and make it so that your whole body just goes, yes, yes, And when I talk about rewards, you want a reward that's really for your brain. And your brain likes color. You can, just give yourself a little color in your life. You can color, like literally with crayons. Do I have anything colored here? I sometimes color. You can do one of these things if you happen to have it. Oh, I love how that feels. It's a head massager. Oh, you can get it at World Market, or I guess Pier 1's gone. You can have a makeup brush at your desk. And just give yourself a little reward, right? Sometimes if I'm doing something and I don't want to be distracted by myself, in essence, I'm the big distractor. I turn these dogs with their backs to me. And then when I'm done, I can turn them around, and just their little faces gives me a reward again. So it's an intentional small reward that rewards your brain. Okay, you're not necessarily spending a lot of money on yourself or eating a lot of brownies. Those things are fine, but you can't do them every day, and they may not even have the impact on your brain that you want. Okay, so that's a turtle step and brain rewards, and those are great structural tools. Okay, a finish tool is like right now when you're really starting a project, you're very excited by it. I want you to put some energy in the bank. and it's called Assisters and Resistors. Okay. Assisters, that's my dad. Gosh, that's me. So we're talking more than 50 years ago. And resistors, that's my mom and my Aunt BA. No, I'm not kidding. Sorry. Bad joke. Anyway, who's on your team? Right now, like I said, while you're still really gung-ho on this project, I want you to list 200 people who might help you. I know that seems crazy, but we all know 200 people. You probably have 2,000 people on your Facebook friend group. And then just list small and specific ways they might help you. Introduce me to so-and-so, have coffee with me, take Billy the dog or Bobby the child for an hour. You know, bake a casserole for so-and-so so I don't have to do it. Any number of little things that a person might be able to do. Some of them might be reading related, like read a first draft. Might be writing related, like brains be a sounding board for a character. Might be reading related, like introduce me to their agent. So just put something small and specific. Research shows that a small and specific request is granted over 90% of the time. Okay, so next time you're down, this is your little battery. You go to it and you think, oh, I can't do anything, nothing's working. And you do one of these things. You make that promise to yourself and you do it. You pick up the phone and you say, hey, I was wondering if we could meet for coffee. I'm feeling really like I could use a break, you know? Okay, now harder is resistors. And who might be resistors? You can put an R next to any of the people on your list who might be resistors. And they will tell you some people are both. Your children, your dog, your mother-in-law, your boss might be both. They're all for it, they love it. And then when it interferes with something they need from you, they obstruct. And there might be people who pretend to be very happy that you're writing, but in actuality, they might be a little envious, or they might devalue that. They might not think it's so important. So they might just niggle at it in other little ways. So put R next to anybody whom you can think of as a potential obstructor. That could include yourself. My husband's a great big help. He really is. And when it comes to my writing even, but he also can be an obstructor. So what you want to do is think about how that obstruction might come and what you might do to mitigate it. Do you have to see your mother-in-law for the next several months while you finish that up? Maybe you do, I don't know. Do you have to, tell your boss that you're writing at 5 o'clock so that you can quit right at that hour and get writing? Would that help? Maybe. And so how might you actually neutralize that resistance? Like I can remember a time when I was traveling with my 3 kids in an RV all alone, and I was in maybe New Hampshire in a bathroom in a Burger King. And I read that there was a rapist in Burger King's on Route 57, like days prior, a serial rapist. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm driving at night to this campsite with my kids alone in I think I had a tent or an RV. I don't remember. Maybe it was a tent. Anyway, my plan was to go to sleep with my frying pan. It wasn't a great plan. It just mitigated the obstruction of my sleep. I was able to sleep because I had a plan. It didn't really neutralize the resistance to sleeping, but it gave me a little mitigation so I could sleep. It wasn't a great plan, but it was a plan. So that's an actual story. Oh, my life. Anyway, so I would like you to make a plan to help yourself, move yourself forward. You don't have to skip or skimp a step. You can make your work whole. You can join us, write, and get the tool you need when you need it. So I hope to see a number of you join us in the Mighty Writers Club. It's going to be great, and I hope to see you write something that will change your life. You're going to go to go.decodingcreativity.com/mighty, and that's where you'll get all the information. And if you make that commitment today, it'll only be $89. That's what I'm asking for today, $89 for the first month. It'll be $89 a month thereafter. But you see what I'm saying? I designed this to be affordable. I designed this to be something that will last, that will give you support that you can count on over a long period of time. So what do we do there? We write together 5 times a week on Zoom. I always give you a prompt. and we write for 55 minutes, and then we socialize afterwards a little bit if we want to. And it's a great way to make your day yours again. And we have coaching meetings 2 times a month. Our group meetings are fun, they're informative, and they're tailored to our group's needs. You can see past sessions up in our clubhouse that we've done: how to write an agent query letter, how to write for Medium, beat sheets, plot models, character templates, and more. I'm pretty sure I have a couple of interviews with agents up in there. I have interview with Laura Davis on how to write a family story, the ethics of that. So members are invited to a lot of other programs in the course of the year, absolutely free, because this is the heart of my business. You're my people. So this year, people were invited to Your Novel Your Way, which is all about your creative process and how you approach your novel. We were invited to 100 Writing Days of Summer. That's a $279 program that they joined in free. They hit the ground writing in October, again, free, as part of just being a Mighty Writers Club. I invite you in. You're kind of my family, my entourage, my writing group, and I want you there. So that's what I've designed to get people writing, to keep myself writing, to give a lot of value and a lot of support over a long period of time so that people can get their work done. Okay, so any questions you have, post in the Facebook group or just email me and I'd be happy to have a dialogue or even get on the phone with you. Okay, stop, share. Hey, and I want to thank you for this 5-day challenge. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed being with you. I love how much writing has happened just among us. And, we're worth it. It's important. So I want to thank you all for being here.